Welcome to the Dear Lovejoy podcast. Today is a Mailbag special. Welcome to everybody who's listening to this on iTunes, wherever you listen to it, and welcome to everyone who's watching us on YouTube tonight. We record all these live now. So, you can watch them as well as listen to this. During this podcast, I'm going to be giving advice, so please don't forget, if you are going to take advice off me, you know you're taking advice off a TV presenter. Don't forget that, because it is a horrible idea, as we all know. Mark is here to keep me in check. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark. Hi, Mark. Hi, Tim. I'm so... I've got your name wrong. It's the first thing I've done.
We haven't done one of these for a while.
Hi, everybody.
And Mark's slightly out of practice.
It's a hot cast.
Fina's here as well, but you can't see her. She's mixing.
Hi.
She's down there mixing.
She got her name right.
Yeah.
By not saying it.
Mark's also got a new item for the podcast.
Oh, don't big it up too much.
So, is it any good?
No, it's thin.
As I say, we're filming today's podcast. I've raided my piggy bank, as regular listeners will know, and we got some cash together, and we're filming them and we're sticking them out. I'm enjoying. We got great feedback so far.
Yeah.
People are enjoying watching them. But we're going to try and put all the old podcasts on YouTube, and we thought what would be brilliant is if we could sort of somehow animate them. I don't know how, but if you want to do it, and I'm not paying you any money.
No, you're getting paid after me.
If you fancy helping us out, and at the moment we're just putting them up with a photo, but if you fancy anyway, I like it when they sometimes just put photos on them and do that. But if you fancy doing that, then let us know. Also, we want feedback on anything to do with the YouTube channel. Let us know what you think of it. How's this weather? It's unbearable in here. The sun's just about to go down, just over there. But this heat is, you can hear a buzzing in the background. We've got so many fans going. How are you enjoying the heat, Mark?
You know how much I hate this weather. This is my hell.
Yeah.
I hate it. I try to think of a good thing about it, and I can't. The clothes you have to wear are rubbish. The travelling on public transport is awful.
Do you know everyone's
can't sleep?
Do you know everyone's tweeting about it? Everyone, right? So all the celebrities are trying to think of something funny to say, and the only one that should really amuse me is Jeff Norcott, guest of the show so long ago, who said, "I'm even contemplating buying a third pair of shorts," and that really amused me because men have two pairs of shorts.
I have as well.
Yeah, everyone does.
Rob Beckett is being very funny about it on Twitter.
He's very angry, like you about it.
He said the other day. He said, "What the hell's going on? 3 more Stellas, I'm going to headbutt the sun."
Yeah, I feel like I'm in. Did you ever watch that Spike Lee movie, Do the Right Thing?
No.
Right, okay. Forget the racial tension because there's none of that in the kitchen. But I don't know. I might have a go. I might have a go at
the Swede and the Pole.
The Polish and the Swedish. Yeah. Hey, how's Brexit, lads? Whee! No, so it's Spike Lee's. What happens is the summer where it gets really hot. And as it gets hotter, tensions rise, and then eventually a bit of racial tension, and it turns into a riot. But the way Spike Lee does the film is so good because you just feel so hot watching it, and that's what I feel like now, where it's just it's just getting to me now. I've really enjoyed it, and I've had some great night out. But the weather is just getting to me. It's the sleeping stuff.
Yes, well, that's another thing. That's no good either. I went to the cinema and watched a film set in a Thai prison this week. And they make that look.
Which one?
It was called A Prayer Before Dawn. It's about a kickboxer who
amazing.
Gets put away.
That's an amazing film.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, because you had Joe Cole on the thing. How good is that film?
Well, it's like a piece of art.
It is amazing.
It's not a film. It's just so bizarre, that film.
Yeah, but I was looking at it, and I think the reason is because it's set in a Thai prison. Everyone's speaking Thai.
Yeah, and they're not subtitling.
And they're not subtitling.
Half the time, it's all body language.
So you don't know and so you feel what he's feeling, which is the like this claustrophobia, and there's the heat. Yeah. And the fighting is unbelievable.
So the way they do it, did you see the interview I did?
No, I missed it.
What, you don't watch everything I do?
No.
Jesus Christ, Mark. What sort of friend are you?
I know, but I'm always just looking at you on Twitter.
Oh, good.
Someone was busy looking at old videos of you.
What they do is because it's a French director, can't remember his name. He likes to what's the word? He likes to embrace the film, embrace the culture, indulge himself in it all. But he wanted the fight scenes to be long, so they're like sometimes 1 minute 45 fight sequence. I was watching it going, this is actually fighting. When I spoke to him, what they do is they keep an open hand in the glove, but they are hitting and they are kicking because there's nothing else you've got to take a kick. Yeah. So they're not doing that fake punchy stuff. I'm glad you've watched that because I keep telling people to watch it and no one really does.
I had to go into town for a friend's birthday on Tuesday, and I thought I really want to go and see that film. So I'll go up early while it's not too busy and go and do that.
Yeah.
So I got sort of 2 for 1 on the travel card.
I'm trying to get him onto the podcast because I was a bit worshipy of him when he came on. I just kept on saying it's such
he is very cool. He was in Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, and it's such a great thing to have on his CV. Whether that film goes on to make a lot of money or get a lot of hits or whatever.
It sort of doesn't feel like it was, because when I went to see it, I saw it at the Curzon, Bloomsbury in Bloomsbury, sorry, and there was 10 people in there.
Really?
It was a 24-seater.
Right.
Tiny
it's
screen.
just, and it's quite brutal, isn't it? And it's
amazing though.
There's a few scenes in it which are quite. Whoa, really?
Yeah,
am I watching that? Yeah, and they're genuine.
There's some man-on-man action.
Do you know what? There's the guys in it. Yeah, the guys in it are genuinely not actors; they're criminals.
Yeah.
There's a couple of actors in it, and the lady boy is a genuine lady boy they found. Who wasn't an actor as well. So it's really good. It's like, and the tattoos all over. Oh yeah, it's really good. I remember watching a film in this heat, Die Hard. Yeah, and it was set in the snow, or something. Yeah. And it was ridiculous trying to watch it in heat like this, because you don't believe any of it, because it was just too hot. Anyway, how's everything going with the? I'm on drugs, by the way. I'm feeling a bit.
You got something you can give me, Tim?
I've got. They're not illegal drugs. Dr. Tamsin Lewis, who regular podcast listeners or watchers will know, it's just she's been biomarking me. I'm not sure that's the right terminology.
Is it biohacking?
I think that's something else, but I don't know. But she's taken my blood and she's taken my. She's taken my hormones, had to wee on something. I've now had to spit on something, and the next thing she's doing is she's just texted me today.
Sounds like you reverted back to your football hooligan days, Tim.
She's texting me saying, I need your feces. Are you all right with that? I'm like, yeah, sure, if you want to have my feces. But she's done all these tests, and I'm not going to go into it because I don't really understand it. And she's coming back on the podcast soon. If we can get her back on, she's so busy. She's absolutely on fire at the moment. But because, I want her to explain what actually is going on with me. But she's given me a load of drugs. I only started them yesterday.
Right.
Kind of supplementy type thing. So I'm a bit giddy and I feel a bit woo.
And you're not sleeping because of the heat.
I'm all over the shop. So this could be.
So this is going to be the best podcast we've ever done.
How's your diet going? Still doing it?
Yeah, I've had quite a few beers this week, so it's totally off the rails.
How did your diet cope during the World Cup?
I didn't have a drink until after the knockout stage.
Rubbish.
100%. 100% true. I hate saying that. So it's completely true.
So 110% true. So it was your fault we got knocked out.
No.
You started drinking. When did you start drinking?
Well, because I wasn't.
Don't tell me the semi-finals.
I wasn't drinking during June.
Unlucky drink.
I wasn't drinking during June. So no, I drank the 2 games, the Colombia game and the Sweden game, the Colombia game, and then.
Whatever. It was good, wasn't it?
The other one, Croatia. Thank you.
It was good, wasn't it? The World Cup.
It was. It was brilliant until that night, and then I was heartbroken.
I was expecting nothing and got so much fun out of it. I enjoyed it so much. Cold showers, still doing those?
It started very much this week again. Just out of pure necessity rather than health.
I can't get the showers cold enough in this weather.
No.
So I've become so obsessed with the cold showers. Anyone who's not heard about the cold showers, go and listen to the Wim Hof one. That'll explain it all. But cold showers are very good.
Or all the other ones where we talk about it.
I tell you what, though, people keep on coming up to me and going, I'm trying the cold showers, Tim. They're working. People like it. So this is really good. You're literally, and I know I am, you've got sweat.
Am I gleaming?
You are
glistening.
We've got a new logo. And
yeah.
Only people. I'll tweet this as well, but or I'll Instagram it maybe. But only people watching will be able to see this logo. It's made by the artist Scooney, who I love. He's top man, and he's become a friend of mine. And I said to him, I want a logo. Can you kind of think of something and sort me out with a logo? And he's come back with this.
It's amazing.
But what's brilliant about it? It's a physical logo.
It's a physical logo, so you can take pictures
hold
of it.
Yeah. And I've never, you know, when you think about a logo, you think someone on a computer is going to design it.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did it, maybe on a computer, but it's actually a physical thing you can hold, and I just love it. It's brilliant. Isn't
it looks good.
It does look really good, doesn't it? So yeah, that's our logo. I'm going to try and use that. But
it's got a sort of Coca-Cola element to it, which I quite like.
I've also got this, which is a new toy I've got. Before we get on with our mailbag, this is called Heart Math Inner Balance Bluetooth. You'll like this because I'm just starting to try it. So I think what we're going to do on this podcast, because people like it, we're doing a lot of health stuff on here, so we might as well carry on. And this is because we talk a lot about meditation and breathing and things like this. This is the idea of this is you have an app on your phone, then you stick it on your ear. I'll put it on for you, Mark, so you can see. You turn it on.
Tim's put it on his earlobe.
That's what you do. You put it on your earlobe.
Does it have to be your left one?
Well, apparently, if you wear it on your right one.
No, he's not that old.
Only people from years ago will understand what we're talking about there. Nonsense. So you put it on, and then your app goes, and then what you do is you start doing breathing in time with the app, and it registers your heartbeat, and it talks to you about your.
I mean, it looks cool.
Your breathing, and it says whether you're doing. I can't think of what the word is now. I'm gonna have to look. Something breathing. It's not written there. But what it does is first of all you focus on your heart.
Right.
Then you focus on your heart breathing, and then you focus on your heart feeling. So you focus on where your heart is. Then you focus on making sure you're breathing constantly, consistently. You're not looking too impressed by it.
I think they should rename it eye cobblers. And
then no, and then you think about something like say you think about your cat or something nice, and then it changes. And the theory is, and I like this theory, is everybody says about mindfulness, you change your head to change everything. Their theory is you change your heart to change your head.
What's the medical?
So I want to think of that word because it's something. I've been
doing
doing it, and to begin with, I thought this is so easy, and then after a while, I was finding. I'm just going to look it up. After a while, I was finding it really hard. So it's good. I'm trying it all the time. Your heart. Coherence, that's it.
Right.
So what you're trying to do is get your heart to beat like that rather than all jaggedy up and down. You want a really lovely fluid heartbeat. And once you've achieved that, then you're on way. So I was listening to another podcast, and some bloke on there.
You don't listen to other podcasts,
I do, and some bloke on there was recommending it and saying it's the best money he's ever spent because he does it 2 or 3 times a day and it calms him down.
Am I able to ask how much it was?
No.
Okay. Okay.
I think it's about. Don't know.
Okay, fine.
I'll have to look it up.
Fine.
We've had some guests on recently. People have enjoyed the long duration of them. Great guests. We've had Tim Spector. We've not done a mailbag for such a long time. Tim Spector was on. Jeff Norcott was on.
Yes.
Dr. Tamsin Lewis was on.
Yes.
Gizzy Erskine was on. Frank Turner was on. Johnny Vegas, Patterson Joseph. They've all been brilliant, haven't
yes.
they? Really enjoyed them all. Tim was actually suggested, though, by one of our listeners. So if you have any suggestions for us, then let us know and we'll try and get them on.
And not like Jennifer Lopez, like someone we can actually get.
I'm trying for Jennifer Lopez.
Are you? Have you put a call in to her people?
They've not said no yet.
Right, fine.
We've also got some good guests coming up, but I don't want to tell you who they are right now.
Jinx
because, well, it's not just that, but also what we've decided to do with guests, because what we could do is just chase the celebrity, but what we want to do is only choose people that we think are interesting. So we really want the celebrities on, the Johnny Vegases.
Well, they have to make up for us, don't they?
But we also want really interesting people.
Yeah.
So we've got lots of people who we just think have got interesting stuff and stories to talk about.
Yeah.
Frank Turner was on the last. Was he the last one we did?
Yes.
We never talked about was the threatening email you're getting. I said I just got one that day.
Oh yeah.
And my friends have got them. And then he said, he'd also got. And I forgot to talk to him about it. I don't know if anyone else has had this email. Have you had it yet? The email basically goes, "We've got your password." And they actually have one of your passwords. That's the scary bit. And then they say,
what actually has one that you could recognise?
Yeah. So someone's got one of my passwords that I recognise. They say, we've got your
password.
What is
it, Tim?
It's blah. No. So they get it, and then they say, we've been watching what you're doing, and we've been watching your habits, and we've been watching you on X-rated porn sites, whatever. Yeah. And blah 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 blah. And if you send us £3,000, we'll forget all about it, type of thing. But if you don't, we're gonna release it to all your contacts. We've got all those as well. And there's when your password comes up, there's a minute. Not that I've ever watched any porn, obviously, but no, there is that minute where it comes up and you see they've actually got one of my passwords. You start going, panicking. Now the password for something was for really something quite obscure actually, because I remember what it was for. It was for one of my social network sites,
right?
So which I changed years ago, but that's the only time I ever used it on that because it was set up for me by somebody else. So it's really interesting. But
so it's an old password.
Oh yeah.
Oh fine. It's not because if it was one now, you would have written that check, wouldn't you?
No, I wouldn't, because you've got to be ashamed of something.
Yeah.
And I think
mine are all medical things like foot complaints and stuff. Oh. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think they said they've hacked into your camera as well. But one of my mates was really worried. And when you were all on WhatsApp groups, he's like, "How seriously shall I be taking this, guys?" And we're like, not. Just forget it. Don't worry, they're doing it. He's going, but they've got one of my passwords, and it's an important one. And I went, don't worry about it. Just change the password. You're fine. Sort of thing. But yeah, it's they're quite scary. Those things.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Right, should we get on with the mailbag?
Go on then.
Okay, this comes from Mark. I've stumbled upon your podcast a while ago, and it's now compulsive listening. I have to say, Johnny Vegas, amazing. You let him go and hit the right places when needed. By the way, I'm just going to hammer through as many of these as possible. That's what the mailbag is. We like hearing your feedback, so we'll read it out, and that's it. I was shopping in Lidl with my headphones on when he told the story about shitting on stage. I can't believe he told us that story. It was fantastic. He said, I laughed out loud. I popped into Tesco's. Why would you go to Lidl and Tesco's? And
good beer deals in Lidl, probably.
You think he went for Lidl for beer and then Tesco's for what?
Well,
food
hummus.
shopping. Hummus. Popped into Tesco's on the go, and the headphones. I put the headphones on again to listen to the rest. I welled up when you asked him about it was their life after death. If you haven't listened to it, Johnny talks about his dad and stuff, so it's interesting. His response to your comments touched me. Your mix and work with Mark works really well, so thanks for the subject, guys.
Oh, did I get a mention?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, lights up my day. Keep up the good work. Mark, Phyllis has got an email here. Hi, Tim. Really enjoyed your interview with Stephen Tompkinson, episode 46. What was so bad about calling his, in brackets, imaginary driver's helmet purple? Is it an insider's joke? Phyllis, Mark, can you explain that?
No, I don't know. I didn't understand what you two were talking about.
Phyllis, I can't explain
Nothing
that.
funny about a purple helmet.
I can't explain that. You have to go and find a
Urban Dictionary.
Will it be in there?
Yeah. Oh. Urban Dictionary is like a well of filth. It's disgusting. Wow, you're googling it, are you? We can't play out the live jingle.
Oh, we can put the jingle in on the. Yep. Yeah. It's there. Phyllis, Urban Dictionary. That's where you need to go for that one. Yeah, okay. Colin says...
You're sweating more than you were earlier.
Their dictionary is definition.
Yeah, it's horrible, isn't it?
It's quite amusing.
Because they give an example, don't they?
I like it. I thought it's quite funny. All right. Colin, afternoon, Tim. Halfway through your podcast with Gizzy Erskine, another goodie. I've been here since the beginning and loving every one, apart from one thing that seems to be happening more. More. Now, I'm not sure if it's got worse since you've been filming them. It has, probably. TV's Tim's professional head rearing itself, but it's become more noticeable. What can you hear? What can it be? I hear you ask. Go on. You know you want to know. Well, it is apologising. You seem to do it a lot. We know you're in your kitchen, and we know the cat comes in and out. Where is she? She's there. She's lying there. I don't know if you can see her.
You can see her.
Yeah, she's
passed out.
Can you imagine this weather, like being
with all that fur
coat? Yeah,
that's what my back's like.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Not your back, but
yeah, no, that's what you'd say if you saw it.
We know the cat comes in and out, and the neighbours may make noise occasionally. There's a knock at the door. I like it when there's a knock at the door. It's always exciting. Who can it be? but all those things that make your podcast different and entertaining. Well, that and the guests, obviously. Your guests must realise the case when they walk into your kitchen. Don't seem to be embarrassed about it. So relax, man. You're doing great. I think I'm just used to TV world.
Yeah, also you are actually hosting people in your house, so you're sort of wanting them to have a good time. But I like it. I like the idea you've turned into the podcasting version of Hugh Grant. Sorry.
I apologise for that. I apologise for that. I apologise. We're also getting more listeners, and so the ones who are just catching up, because every time we do one, there's more people tuning in.
And you have to explain that beep boop is the cat coming in.
Yeah, and the fact that everything makes a noise in this house, and there's lots of noise, and that everyone's doing building around here. God knows why.
And planes.
Yeah. As you speak, there goes a plane.
That's why I said it.
Right.
I can improvise.
Well done. All right, let's do a serious one here. Hi, Tim. Loved your special guests, including Winhoff, Tom Kerridge, etc., etc. Anyway, my reason for writing is you're musing about your daughter's gingham dress. I don't even remember this. This was when it was coming to summer. This is so long ago. And I think I said, here she goes, she points out, whether the kids should all be in shorts and polo. I suddenly thought to myself...
You asked your daughter, Jamie, the youngest one, you asked her, does Jamie... don't you want to wear shorts and T-shirts like the boys?
Yeah.
And she said, no, I want to wear my gingham dress.
Yeah.
Or my dress. I don't know if she knows the word
She
gingham.
doesn't know the word gingham, no. She said, I want to wear my dress, yeah. And then I said, well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I'm getting so caught up in equality. I'm thinking, why are the girls dressed differently to the boys? Why aren't they all dressed the same? And it's sort of, all these things are just occurring to me, especially in the industry I work in, where we have to be on the ball with it, otherwise we get sacked. Anyway, she says, I really struggle with the gender-neutral ideals being spoken about just now. It feels just anti-girly rather than gender-neutral. Boys are allowed to like whatever they want, but girls are only allowed to like boys' things. Boys can play with dolls and wear pink, but if girls do it, they're stuck in a stereotype and not fulfilling their potential. I see what she means. Okay, the headline about not being enough girls in science and engineering is infuriating. I think opportunity is all that matters. There's a lot of talk about this. I've discussed this a lot with... anyway, so let me just finish what she says. I don't think equality means the same. It means equal opportunity. Yeah, that's good. Men and women are different. I don't think you're allowed to say that anymore, are you? Even though we look a bit different, don't we? I have 2 young daughters and want them to experience a wide variety of things so they can choose who they are. I've discussed this with Harriet Harman, and I've discussed this with June Sarpong, yeah, about I'm worried about, I sort of gone down the path of believing in pure equality, but I think people quite like their gender roles, and I'm not sure I'm doing the right thing.
Have you gone too far with your equality?
I don't know. It's a bit of a... What do you think?
It's a bloody minefield is what it is. It really is, isn't it?
It is, but I did point out to both Harriet Harman and June Sarpong that most of the world still has gender-identified roles, I think. And I don't... Fina, what do you think?
It is a minefield.
That's not the answer.
Go on. No, that was my way of brushing over it. You've got to think of your own way of getting away without saying anything.
Come on. You can't just pretend you're mixing. What's your answer?
But 3 very important buttons here, actually.
What do you think about it? How far? What? Yeah, go on.
Go on, no, have a specific question. It's unfair just to chuck out a broad
big question.
Do people like gender roles, or should everything be equal?
Equal opportunity.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Stop speaking, woman.
That's what she said, and I think, and I've lost her name now, but that's what she said. I think that's it. It's equal opportunity, isn't it? It's not being the same, but it's having the equal opportunity. It's a really
tough thing to talk about, because someone somewhere is going to disagree with you, and you're going to upset someone by what you think.
Yeah, but what we need to do is talk about it. That's what we need to do.
There's no platforms to do that at the moment, where there's an open discourse where people will engage without jumping on it. And the place where not to do it is Twitter.
I tell you, yeah, exactly. Social media. Are you mental going on social?
Even the guy who
media and talking about politics.
Even the guy who
stupid.
Even the CEO of Twitter said this week that Twitter is not a platform for nuanced conversation.
I'll tell you a good story. Okay, it's not a good story. It's boring.
God, you built this up now. Drum roll.
People always say to me, "Oh God, who's your favourite guest you've ever had on any of your shows?" And I just reel out some names, and they go, "Who's the worst?" I go, "None."
We're going to say that.
No, but there's none.
Yeah.
There's none because people are nice, and the only reason they're horrible is because they've been put on the show and they don't want to be there. So I've had a couple of people like that who didn't really understand what it was and didn't want to be there, and that's it. And a couple of people who are drunk or hungover. But apart from that, everyone's nice. And when you go through life, how many really bad people do you meet? Very, very few. Most humans.
I can find bad in most people.
I know you can, but that doesn't mean they are bad. But there's not. So when people have their views, it's not because they're bad people. It just have a different view. They have a different upbringing. They've got a different set of scenarios, different whatevers, and there you go. Anyway, I'm glad you wrote in. I don't know what the solution to is, but I like that thing that you said and Fina said. It means equal opportunity. I think that's good, and I'm going to go with that now when anyone asks me about that. Kerry says, my God, awesome podcast. I started podcast 1 on day 1 of my 12-day off annual leave, and I've listened non-stop from the moment I get up until I go to bed. Jesus Christ, Kerry, get a life. Back to work
We've
tomorrow.
both got such monotonous voices. How do people listen all day?
I don't know. Thoroughly enjoying everyone. P.S. We'd love to give you a game of backgammon. I've played in Vegas, so I'd probably beat you. I
wow, all right.
I like that. All the best, Keza. Did I talk about playing backgammon on here then? Have I talked about it?
I think you did, because you couldn't believe I couldn't play it.
Can't you play it?
No.
I'm going through a run of bad luck at the moment, and I'm not sure I've just become crap at it, but I just keep losing. And I don't know if anyone out there...
Have you lost your competitive edge?
I've lost my temper a lot. So I've come off it for the time being, because I just found it was upsetting me.
Yeah.
Because the problem with games which involve luck is when someone throws a double six against you, you're like, oh fuck this. And sorry, I swore a lot there. But you're like, that's how angry you get. Like, what? I don't want to. You just like, I'm gonna win, and you've just done that, and you've pulled it off. And
is there luck to throwing dice though?
What do you mean? Is there luck to throwing? What? What do you mean?
Okay,
that's all it is.
I bet you could. I bet there's a mathematics. If you hold them up in a way and throw them at a certain velocity, I bet you can get.
But on a computer, it's just saying it's random. And then when you're in a casino, you put them in a cup, so you can't do that, can you?
Right.
I don't think you're allowed to.
I bet you there is some science to how to roll dice.
Nah.
Wow. Dismissed. Dismissed, Augustine. Shit point.
Flash Lamac, as he calls himself, says, good morning, Tim and Mark. It's middle of the night. It's not. Well, what's the time now? 8 o'clock at night. We're doing this at night. I just have to say that I'm loving the podcast. I work in a call centre for EE, and I'm in an admin role, which is the dullest job I've had in all my working career. However, one thing that is getting me through some real boring moments are your podcasts. The guests you had are amazing. The subjects covered have been really informative. Favourite so far, Wim Hof. What a man. Freeze, breathe, motherfuckers. And close second, Professor Dan Davis, who knew that so many things affect the immune system. Just keep up the good work. It's keeping me sane. I'm looking for another job, by the way. I hope I can listen to my work in the future.
It's so great getting into a podcast.
Especially if you're in a dull job.
Yeah.
What's the worst job you've had?
Two spring to mind immediately. Home base and flipping burgers at Chessington World of Adventures.
Flipping burgers. How many did you flip a day?
Well, I'd say flipping burgers. You put them on there's like a conveyor belt, and by the time they go through the conveyor belt, they're cooked, and then you spread on the thing and put the lettuce in, and then wrap it in the thing. Like hundreds.
What do they taste like?
It's hot today. Yeah. All day it's like that.
Were they frozen when you put them in the machine?
Pretty much, yeah. And they come out, still rank. But
how much they charged today?
I can't remember. I wasn't front of shop.
I think my worst job I had was finance. I'm not taking it away from anyone who works in finance, but it just didn't suit me at all. You know, when you find a job, it's kind of what encouraged me to get involved in TV. I went into the job because I thought I could make some money, and I thought I'd be one of those yuppies or whatever, make some cash in finance. And I just hated it. And I used to be sitting in the office, yawning from the moment I got there to the time I'm going home, just thinking, I need to go home. I want to fall asleep. That's all I could think about. Just really didn't like it. Athena, what's the worst job you've had?
It was a summer job, and I had to photocopy exam papers from literally 9 to 5. Stood up. Obviously, our lunch break.
That's a photocopy, obviously.
Photocopying.
Ooh.
Massive old...
That's got to be dangerous, isn't it?
My
yeah, it's dangerous, isn't it?
Well, no, I mean, is it on standing next to photocopy? Isn't that dangerous?
Ooh, maybe.
Radiation.
Few bits and bobs.
Trade compensation.
My dad took me to work once. He said, do you want to come to work for a couple of weeks? I went, yeah, all right. And they got me taking staples out of like paper. It was so boring.
Is that still in your CV?
I haven't spoken to him since. 30 years of hurt. Actually, more than that, wasn't it? Right, Jessie, regular Jessie. Jessie's a regular, and
oh yeah,
she writes such long.
She
Jessie,
writes
your emails
dissertations
are so long. Last time we did a mailbag, we said, "What's happened to Jessie? She's a regular, and she hasn't written in." Anyway, she's written like a 10-page essay, which I'm not going to read all of, but I'll read a bit. I'm a bit behind, but listened recently to the Alistair Campbell episode, as well as the latest Mailbag special, and wanted to reassure that I'm not offended, Tim. That's right, I thought I might have offended her.
Yeah.
I'm not offended, Tim, that you disagree with everything in capital letters I say. It's not everything.
It's just the majority.
Just a lot of it. No, it isn't. It's just the secret and the star signs. It's the bloody star signs. I'm a typical Aries, and we don't believe in horoscopes.
Hey, come on. Yeah. Hey. He's here all week.
I don't want to be sexist here, but and we've got...
Don't then.
It's like, just shut up.
Yeah, I mean...
No, but The horoscopes just. This is going to be sexist.
Yes, it is. You're going to generalise. Say it. You'll get some more emails.
Go on.
All right, Fina, on your head be it. But I've never had a conversation with a man ever about horoscopes.
Right.
Have you?
No.
Fina, do you like horoscopes?
No, and I don't talk about horoscopes with girls either. So,
Good. All right.
See?
So I am sexist.
So you are actually sexist, yeah?
It's not sexist. It's just that no man has ever had a conversation.
Voice of reason over there.
Actually, no, you do have them. You entertain them if you're trying to woo them in some bar or something. They say, "What star sign are you?" And they go, and you go Aries or whatever, and they go, "Oh God, we're not compatible," or something like. Yeah. No, we are. Depends which one you read. I don't know. Anyway, she said, I've tried to write this email over and over and keep deleting it. It's not been very coherent, as I'm very mindful of how much detail I'm willing to share. The truth of it is, I haven't emailed because I have not been feeling too great.
I know.
I'm going through a breakup at the moment, initiated by me, but I still feel crap. I know I'm doing the right thing as I get treated badly, and I finally realise it's not going to change, but I feel like I was pushed into the corner where I had no choice. It wasn't like my feelings changed. I just finally got the strength to think, it doesn't matter if I love him or not. I can't live like this. It's that love business again. The more I think about love... Have you watched Love Island at all, Mark?
No.
Why not?
Because it's not for me, Tim.
How do you know if you've not watched it?
Because I know what it is, and it's not for me, Tim.
Well, have you watched it, though?
No, but I know what it is.
Well, then how do you know?
Oh my God, we're not doing this again. Fina, have you watched Love Island?
I have, but I'm actually over it now. It's so...
You're over it?
God.
Fina, before you get... Can I just get... That's what you just said. Before I get back to that, well, I will get back to you on that, Fina. But Mark, like, if you want a child to try some cabbage, you go, well, just try it and then tell me if you don't like it. If you've never watched any at all...
I've seen clips of it.
Oh, you have? Which ones?
Well, I don't know who they are. Some dimwits in some trunks.
I hope you had a close-up of his face there, Fina, when he said that.
What?
Your face is like, I don't want it. It's like it's going to destroy me.
It's just I've just so much stuff to watch.
Yeah.
I can't waste... do you know what I've restarted this week?
Go on.
Band of Brothers. Oh.
Why you restarted? I can't watch anything more than once.
Because
anyway,
I haven't seen it
Fina,
for
why
about 5
have
years.
you given up on Love Island?
Oh, it's exhausting. I had to watch a documentary about Vietnam War yesterday just to like kind of almost.
Oh, the new one on Netflix.
Yeah, the one on Netflix.
So good.
We're not populist on this podcast, are we? Watching documentaries on the Vietnam.
It's really good.
Is it?
It is really good.
I'll watch
it. It's a PBS BBC
co-pro
thing.
Right.
It
really
tops Love Island.
Yeah, the thing is with Love Island though is they keep talking about... I don't quite get the dating ritual of Love Island, because you go out with someone and you can have sex with them and everything, but they're not your girlfriend or boyfriend until you... It's like being at school and yet they're teenagers and adults.
Brutal.
And 20, and they sit there and they go, will you be my girlfriend? And everyone claps and cheers. I'm like, but that's ridiculous. You've been sleeping with them. How are you not boyfriend and girlfriend when you're sleeping with each other? Apparently you're allowed to do whatever you want in the world, Mark, until you say that word, will you be my girlfriend or boyfriend? But the thing they do is they keep on going, and I really loved him. They've been in there 2 weeks, and I really loved him, and then they've moved on with someone else. It's like, what the hell do you think love means? And they sat there the other day. One of them went, yeah, I've been in love with 4 or 5 people. You're 19!
Yeah.
You're 19! What on earth do people think love is? It's just like, love is just not sex. It's not just like feeling amorous towards someone. You've got to actually, I don't know.
It's arguments, it's bills.
One of those blokes, Adam, he was 19 years old. I can't believe I was doing Love Island on here, but it's good because we're a podcast which talks about stuff like this.
It's just a really funny setup. You're talking to Fina and she's got her back to you. It's really like, I'm really bored of Love Island, Tim.
Not on purpose.
But he'd slept with, how many people had he slept with? Was it 300 or something, or 100?
It was, something really ridiculous.
He was 19 or something. Was he 19? He was like 19 or something. He slept with 100 people. Where do you find time?
How?
What was he doing? Does he never leave the bedroom? Does he never go and play football? Or, does he never go down the snooker hall? I don't know. What do people do these days? I don't know, but
You're
I'm thinking...
so from the 70s.
All I could think of was, what does he not do? Does he not have any hobbies? Or his only hobby is wooing and, sexing women? Anyway, my ex was happy. What did she say? I would say, even though I love him or not, I don't know. I can't live like this. She said, it doesn't matter if I love him or not. I can't live like this. Max was happy to treat me like crap despite me being trying to discuss things. So as you have said previously, I love you. Oh, she's brought it up here. Love you means nothing said or written. It's actions that count. Yes, it is. It's actions that count. Don't worry about someone saying I love you. That means nothing.
Right.
Let them prove it by the way they treat you. Anyway, you're supposed to feel awful, Jesse. That's the idea when you split up with someone. Unless you're a psychopath or a narcissist, you're supposed to feel terrible. What's that? We've got neighbours. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone. We got neighbours shouting and screaming next door. They're having a party. We'll go around there later. That's good. At least they're not building. Thanks, Jesse. Anyway, she says speak soon. Peace,
it'll be all right.
Peace and Lovejoy. It'll all be all right. It will all be all right. Yeah. And then you get to the end and it's the end. Rita says hi. So you do think that though, don't you?
Yeah, all
do you
the
know
time.
my big thought process the other day was someone said to me, how old are you? And I was like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long I've lived. It's how long I've got to go.
Says a man trying to avoid telling someone his age.
50. But if you could, I didn't care. But if you could tell me, if I've got 10 years left, then 50 means, you know, how long you've had previously doesn't matter. It's what I've got left. If someone could find out the way of telling me how much I've got left, if I could say to you, Mark, you've got only 50 years left.
I'd go, really, that long? In this incessant heat.
In this heat. So I said to someone today who wanted to argue with me about it, I said, do you know what? Why we had the Industrial Revolution in Britain? And they said no. And I said, because of the heat. Because we've got a mild climate. And
we did.
And people could be bothered to work. I mean, I was making it up. And I said, that is a fact. That's why.
It's sort of believable cobblers, isn't it?
It's great. It is really great. Because it all did move from Britain out. So it's like, that is it. It's because of our climate. So I argued that. But you're right there. If this really is global warming, if this really, I mean, I believe in global warming and climate change. If this is climate change, for God's sake, we need to do something about it now. Because we can't live like this.
Yeah.
Well, otherwise, we're all going to have to get... I mean, they're on the news today telling us we have to paint our houses green or something. Because of the weather's going to be like this every year.
I look so fat in green, I can't.
surely though, everybody, even climate change deniers, would go, okay, we might as well take a punt and actually do it and see if we can stop the carbon outputs to see if we can get our planet back to normal. This is so hot, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it was like this in 1974, apparently. Mark, I read it in the paper.
76.
Did I get that wrong?
It was 76 because the only reason I know that is that my mother was pregnant with my older brother that year, and she said she was impregnant in this heat.
Yes.
She said it was just unbearable.
I'm going to be like.
And she hasn't spoken to him ever since, which is 40 odd years ago.
I'm going to be like a young DJ. A big shout out to anyone who's pregnant.
Pregnant ladies.
In this weather. It must be really tiring
Up next,
for you.
Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds.
Rita says, I think, Fina, are these pictures getting dark? Do you think we need to just turn them around a bit?
Yeah, I'll improve them.
Go on.
Do you know how to do it?
Because the sun's going down now. This is interesting for people listening to this. But I'm not going to apologise. I've been told off for that today. Whilst you do that... that's better.
Oh, yeah, that's...
Rita says, hi, you asked people to email if they wanted to hear more stuff about Soccer AM. I love this podcast. I'm a 44-year-old mum who used to be one of those who were entertained because their boyfriends watched it. I love Helen, and that interview was superb. I did enjoy the interview. I'm trying to get all the boys together. It's so complicated trying to get all the boys together from Soccer AM. They've all got jobs now, and they're all doing really well, and all that sort of stuff. And
they're it's so annoying, isn't it? You want people
they do want to do it. It's just trying to get them all together, and they're all doing really interesting stuff as well. So it's going to be a good conversation about,
especially Robbie's YouTube videos.
We could do 2 or 3. Yeah, they're good. But Neil, who used to work on Soccer AM, is working at #United now.
Oh, cool.
Which is really interesting. I can't be bothered to go into it here, but look that up because that's an interesting prospect. He'll like me for giving him a plug. But yeah, they're all doing interesting things, so we'll try and get them all together again and have a chat. I found your podcast from another blog link talking about your interview with June Sarpong. Again, a brilliant interview. Oh, I wonder what they were saying. Ooh. Anyway, so I've subscribed, and thanks again. Angela says, dear Tim and Mark, have been listening a while to your podcast, and they're great. Love the latest one about holidays and only washing your bits and bobs. What is that? I don't remember any of this stuff we do. What did I say about washing your bits and bobs?
Oh, God, it was something about losing skin, which isn't the way to phrase that. You worried about damaging and losing skin. Every time you have a wash, you wash skin off. So you're saying you might only... I mean, it was rubbish. It's what you normally say. It's the sort of cobblers you normally come out with.
That's the problem, is I do talk a lot of crap, and then sometimes I have to back it up.
Or remember it.
Yeah, and I go, I said that? And that's the problem. But at the time, it makes sense. It made sense at the time. I don't remember it, but it made sense at the time. I know that. Hi, Tim. This video reminded me very much of your podcast. This is good, on sprays and perfumes. Speaks volumes, don't you think? This is no good for a podcast, but basically she sent me a YouTube video of how we are poisoning ourselves in our homes. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, I don't like perfumes, I don't like smells, and I don't like any of those sort of joss sticks or anything like that. I don't get the idea that you're going to make your air smell of chemicals. It gives me a headache, and I just don't like it. And she's sort of backed it up, and this video says we're basically locking our windows. We're not letting fresh air in. I mean, I'm sure everyone is at the moment because it's so hot outside. Have we mentioned the weather yet?
Yes.
Okay, but what people are doing, especially when it's sort of cold and in the winter and stuff, is they're just shutting the windows, the central heating's on, and then they're putting things like scented candles. They're putting air fresheners. There's the laundry detergents. There's all these sort of things, and they fill up your air in your house, and they're saying the air is actually better outside than it is inside, obviously.
Not in London, it can't be.
Yeah, but actually, the mayor said today, I was reading a tweet, he said pollution in London's horrific, stay in. How bad's that? We're doing that. Surely someone must do something about it, for God's sake. Anyway, so I went down this rabbit hole of looking about how we're poisoning our air, and I genuinely think, I'm sorry guys, I know you're not like this, but I genuinely think you shouldn't be wearing all those smells, because I think they're going to find out.
What about deodorant? Do you wear deodorant?
I wear one which hasn't got a scent.
Is it a roll-on or a spray?
A roll-on.
Right. Okay.
Don't use spray. It's bad for the environment, isn't it? Isn't that? Didn't we ban that years ago?
CFCs we banned, but not the actual aerosol.
What's the difference?
It was the chemical used to get the spray out, wasn't it? I think.
What's mad about it though is how the products are. It always reminds me of that product Shake and Vac. Do you remember Shake and Vac?
Shake and Vac with the freshness back.
Shake and Vac and put the freshness back. Do the shake and back and put the freshness back. This is the best way. When your carpet smells fresh, your room does too. Every time you vacuum, remember what to do. Now the thing is, what you are basically doing there, which has got to be the greatest con that there's ever been of a product, you're putting smelly dust in your carpet, and as you vacuum it, it goes up into the air, and then it enters your nose and goes into your lungs, smelly dust, and you go, oh, that's clean. It's like, no, you've just put a load of dust in your house. It's mental. Oh, there goes the helicopter. That's loud, isn't it? So yeah, I think that's kind of similar to I'm wearing perfume. What do you wear? Do you wear aftershave?
Yeah, now and again, yeah.
Do you wear perfume?
No, I'm the same thing as you. I don't like strong smells. I don't like artificial smells. I get headachy too.
If you vote for me, I'm going to ban artificial smells. I don't know when I'm going to stand yet, but when I do. I'm going to go into some pearls of wisdom in a minute. Let's just do one more email. I love the podcast. Such a range of topics covered, and the theme tune is great. It is great. No, it's great. I love it.
But
Mark wrote it.
Yeah, but
I just love it. What?
You want to change it, don't you?
Yeah, well, not on this one, but on the. Well, we can't have it on this one, can we? Because we're broadcasting now. What
we're going to
do? We'll let it the audio, will we?
Yeah.
Okay. I found this podcast late in the day. I'm not catching up in any order and choosing random podcasts each time I want to listen. If I or any other listeners do this, are we missing out not listening in order?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, there's a real arc to this story. It's really... No, not at all. Just listen. They're all random. It's all just...
Listen to season 6 finale, though. That's good.
Oh, that's a really good one. Tim on drugs, everyone likes. Listen to that one. I don't know why.
And Tim's hair transplant is good.
That's a good one. Someone listened to that the other day and tweeted me. Honestly, we really want your feedback. If you ever listen to any of these podcasts and anything you say, just let us know what you think, because it really makes it. We don't make any money out of this, so feedback's kind of good for us. What are we doing about making money out of this? One day, it's just costing us money. It's the most ridiculous idea. This is worse than Shake and Vac. It's just us turning cameras on and then I don't know. Well, hopefully people enjoy it. Fancy some pearls of wisdom, life hacks, things they don't teach you at school.
Go on then.
Okay, the idea behind this is Mark gives me 3 words and then I have to delve into my brain and come up with some fantastic ideas of just some pearls of wisdom, basically, on that word. The first word, it's not easy this week. He's given me 3 words, but I didn't find that easy. Results is the first word. Now, I'm convinced it's not about the results. It's about the journey. People say that often, but I'm convinced now, more so than ever, that it's about... So if you're a boxer... You want to win, right? And everyone basically says it's all your life is about winning that fight. It's actually not. It's the build-up, the hype, and everything else. That is the main part of that. The fight is only the small bit. Let's take the World Cup. The journey we all had was so much fun, don't you think?
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's controversial, this, but I'm actually all right with us getting knocked out in the semis because it's what we do. And it's quite a nice little journey. It kind of is us. I'd like to get to the final, but I don't mind.
No, it's not the end of the world. I'll tell you what it would have done. You remember when the Olympics were on in 2012? And there was just this... It just raised everyone's spirits.
Yeah.
And it was just great. I think if we'd have won, you'd have felt that for like a month.
Can I be...
It would have maybe just knocked the economy up a bit and all that sort of stuff, I think. It just would have raised the spirits a bit.
Yeah, can I be selfish though? It's like it's not the team I worry about as much. It's the fans.
Well, that's what I meant.
But the fact that we all went on that ride and journey together, I just thought it was fantastic, and I just don't think. All right, we're
starting to sound like X Factor with the word journey, aren't we?
Chelsea fan, right? So I loved '97, won the FA Cup final, absolutely brilliant because I couldn't believe we'd ever win anything like that. And then when we started winning the Premier League, it just wasn't exciting for me anymore because we were just winning everything all the time.
Oh, poor Chelsea.
Yeah, but it's a weird thing. I'm going to name drop here, but Ray Winston once went to me. I was going to do it. He saw me shaping up to do an impression. He said to me, Timmy,
Tim, listen.
Timmy. He said, yeah, you don't have it as good yet. But basically his point he was making about we expect to win every week, so that we don't get any pleasure out of it. Being a West Ham fan as he is, when they go on a run or win the FA Cup...
Ray Winston, I thought he was a Chelsea fan.
No, big West Ham fan.
Is he?
Yeah, huge West Ham fan. So, yeah, and I think that's the case. I got such a buzz out of that run. And when we got Ruud early, it was so exciting because we had an actual proper footballer at the club, like a proper... international footballer, and all those things get you really buzzing. And now I feel like Man United, like I'm really looking forward to next season because we haven't got Champions League, we're on Channel 5, and we just don't seem to have much of a team. So we've got a new gaffer, so it's going to be exciting because we're actually going to go on a journey, Mark.
So that was your life hack.
Results. It's not about the result, it's about the journey.
That's not a life hack.
Why don't we move it to... Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes.
It's a vague thought.
It's not supposed to be a life hack. It's supposed to be a pearl of wisdom. The pearl of wisdom is, remember, don't worry about the result. Enjoy the journey as you're getting to the result. Doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're trying to sort out the Brexit deal, enjoy that journey. Enjoy all the trips to Europe. Enjoy it all. Right. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about Brexit.
Oh, well, you won't have a choice later.
Oh, is that your item? All right.
Is that your item?
Spoil. Now, I struggle with the word spoil, so I just went for...
Don't leave the milk out, it'll spoil. That's a life hack.
Very, very close. A soup boiled is a soup spoiled. I honestly have no idea whether that's true or not, but I remember it, so...
It's what all the chefs say.
It rhymes, I remember it.
It's what all the chefs say, isn't it?
And if you've never heard it before, you've heard it now, and you're probably thinking to yourself...
Why am I listening to this podcast?
You might be thinking that, you might be thinking, I'm not going to burn the soup again. And the final one is shave, and this is an important one for anyone young who's just about to start shaving, or anyone who's involved in the shaving game. Always shave down with the grain, never shave against the grain. Up. If you shave up, it's a closer shave, obviously, but it's ruining your skin. Do not do that. Really don't do it. It ages you. I was taught this years ago by a man once who told me in a barber's shop, always shave down the grain. Only on special occasions, maybe you're going to have a French kiss or something, can you allow yourself to shave up to make yourself lovely and smooth. But apart from that, shave down.
Is there any benefits to this? I've never understood shaving.
What do you mean?
Why do people shave? Why is it better to have a close shave? What's the benefit?
As opposed to?
Well, just having a bit of stubble.
Oh. because you look attractive, maybe you look young.
Does it matter? Do women like shaved faces?
I don't know, Fina.
No, I don't really like a shaved face.
Let's talk to our resident bird.
Generic female here.
Generic. Genero girl. Step in.
Well, it's such a stupid question, isn't it, really?
No, it's not a stupid question.
Oh, it is. Because you got just wait. Look, some women like a clean-shaven man.
Okay,
some
well,
women
that's what I
like
was asking.
A bearded man. Some people like the used to be designer stubble many moons ago. There's lots of different looks, aren't there? What do you like, Fina? Do you like a man with a beard or
stubble?
Stubble
for sure.
Oh, stubble. Okay.
Is there a bad facial design like goatee or moustache or sideburns?
I don't like it when people do that.
Yeah.
Which one?
Well, there's the whole Craig David thing.
Oh, what,
you know
with
that? Yeah.
With the thin
sort of
beard.
fake jawline.
The thin
calf
Lewis Hamilton beard. Yeah, right. Okay, interesting.
I like it. I think that looks good. Yeah, I would do that.
Also,
go for it.
Twiglets stuck to your face.
Yeah, I like it. Now, if you want to drop us an email, you can. Our email address is dearlovejoypodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet me. I'm at Tim Lovejoy. Right, Mark's got a brand new item. I'm excited about this. That's the end of the podcast, and we're going to do Mark's new item called.
I haven't got a name for it, Tim.
Okay.
I haven't really thought it through that much.
Tell me the concept. And
well, you said to me, right? Can you? No, he's on his phone now.
I'm just seeing how long we've been going for.
I can tell you it's
53 minutes.
53 minutes.
Okay, 53 minutes. You got 7 minutes. I think we'll do a clean hour.
This will be really easy. 7 minutes. I think it's going to last 2.
Oh, 2 minutes.
Well, you said to me, come up with something topical.
Yeah.
And I was racking my brains, and I thought, well, what did I used to do? Well, the radio show I used to do. I used to co-write a quiz to end the show.
Oh, did you?
So I thought, why don't we test your topical news knowledge?
Oh no.
Because you're a competitive person.
I'm A, on drugs, and B, I'm hot.
There's 3 questions.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Can are they easy or hard? Am I gonna look stupid?
Oh no, not any more than you have made yourself look for the last 54 minutes. I'm not gonna make you feel any worse about yourself. Okay, so 3 things have happened this week. I'm going to find out if you've read about them. They've all been.
Can I just say at this stage that I've decided not to read the news?
Well, this hasn't worked then, has it, Tim? Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
But I picked stuff up. I decided I didn't want to read the news anymore. I decided it was just too goddamn miserable. Right. And I listened to a podcast about why news is there and why we create it and the sort of reasons behind it all. It's not necessarily.
Why did you get me to do a topical item then?
Well, let's go for it. But I like talking.
No, I'm not doing it now.
I like talking about topical things, so we'll do it. I might know because I picked stuff
up. Well,
there's
there's 2 very light questions and one a bit more of a serious subject.
Right.
I haven't written any jokes. It's just.
All right. Okay. Come on.
Okay. Question 1.
Yep.
How did
you can play along at home?
Yeah. how did 2 Georgia police officers decide whether or not to arrest a woman they had stopped for speeding? So they've stopped her for speeding, and they say, "Shall we arrest her or shall we not?" How did they decide whether to or not?
Is this a video?
No.
Oh.
It happened in Georgia, in America. In America.
Oh, Georgia, America, not Georgia in. Right. Okay.
Boston.
So they got her out of the car.
Yeah.
And they made her sing and dance.
And how would they have?
Don't Americans?
This will be a generic statement. It's a bit sweeping generalisation.
Don't Americans make them walk up and down a line?
Right. She wasn't drunk. She was just speeding.
Oh. I got pulled over in.
Did you?
Yeah, in Salt Lake City, and it was night, and I was doing a driveway, I think they call them. And what you do is you pick a student's car up, right, and then you drive it somewhere for them, so they don't have to be bothered to drive. They fly, and you drive it. And I picked a kid's car up in San Francisco, and it was brilliant because I just met some guys out there, Australians, and I went with them when we took the car down the Wrigley Road in San Francisco?
Right.
And then you go over all the bumps, and you go, we got a bit of speed over the bumps, and you actually sort of feel like you're launching and stuff. And then I had to drive it all the way to Chicago. But going through Salt Lake City, I think that was.
Do you get paid to do this?
No, they don't pay you, but you get a chance to drive a car across America for free. So it's like, so it's good. It's like cheaper than a rental.
Right, fine, yeah. That kind of makes sense.
And so it works for young people, which
yes.
I was at the time. And they stopped, and I went to get out of the car and in Salt Lake City they wear cowboy hat type of things. and they suddenly put a flashlight on me, and they had rifles. Get back in the car. And I'm just going, I'm British. I'm British. I'm British. Where's my passport? I'm British.
Free.
I'm British. I'm British. I was so scared because I've never had a gun pointed at me before. Jesus Christ, it's terrifying having a gun pointed at you. In Britain, we don't know what it's like. Suddenly you get and they've got a rifle pointing at you. They got the woman out of the car and they said, you've been speeding. If you can moonwalk.
Right.
If you can moonwalk and kind of Michael Jackson-esque, we will let you off your speeding fine.
A coin toss.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, brilliant. Why don't they always do that?
But not an actual coin. There's an app. There's a coin toss app.
Right.
Isn't that the most pointless app you've ever heard of? Think of a more pointless app than simulating a coin toss.
Yeah,
when you put it into you put it into your pocket with all the other coins when you're finished with it.
But I bet people listening to this will go, I might have that.
It's got a good idea.
So hold on. Why did they let her do that then? Hold on. Why are they letting her off?
Well, because they wasn't sure. It was. By the way, also the two officers were female, so this isn't
They weren't flirting with.
No, and they just said, well, shall we? I think they're having a bit of a joke, and they went, well, shall we arrest her or not? Oh no, let's decide on a coin toss.
Well, you can't just let people off, can you?
What's
the point in having the law if they don't enforce it? Okay. And how did that end up in the news?
Because I think they got fired. I liked the name of the department chief. His name was Department Chief Rusty Grant. I just liked that's a good name, isn't it? And they've been put on administrative leave.
Oh, God bless them. What's the next question?
Right, this is the slightly more depressing one.
Yeah.
According to Jacob Rees-Mogg, how long will it take to feel the positive benefits of Brexit?
He said, it's decades. It's 20 years or 30 years, maybe even 50. Which one did he go for? I know it was a lot. Should we get him on here? He's hated, isn't he? A lot of people love him, I suppose, but should we get him on this podcast? Should we try and ask him to see if he comes? You're looking at me like... I think it'd be interesting to speak to him. Oh,
he's entertaining, but it's the same as Boris Johnson. I think it hired a slightly more sinister thing when they're they're a bit of a wacky character.
Yeah, but are they being sinister, or is it just what they believe?
Well, answer the question, I'll tell you what I know.
Because of what their background's been and how they perceive the world. Everyone perceives the planet and the world different ways. I think I think he said, very minimum he said 20. He might have said 50. I think he's saying 20.
Is he sure that's your answer?
50.
Ding! 50 years.
50 years.
50 years. You and I will be dead. And also, all the old people who voted for Brexit won't get any of the benefits.
Yeah, but you're being selfish there. He's got a good point, maybe.
What do you mean?
So,
well, because he campaigned for Brexit, and then he said, well, actually, I'll be honest, we're not going to fit. And can I tell you why?
Yeah.
So, 50 years. Apparently, there's a little bit more to it. He stands to actually benefit personally from Brexit because his hedge funds are tied up in the Cayman Islands, and it's called the Somerset Capital Management, and it's managed via subsidiaries in tax havens in the Cayman Islands and Singapore, which means that he gets to benefit from Brexit personally, but doesn't benefit the people he's looking after. So I think it's a really interesting bit of information. I think
no one does anything for nothing.
No, exactly.
No one has ever.
No, and I'm not saying he's the only one, and certainly he's not the only one on the. It's the left and right who do that.
Let's take away.
I think it's interesting.
Let's take away his investment, right? And let's say we had absolute utopia in 50 years' time. Is it a good decision or not?
Not for me, it's not.
Well, yeah. So what? So it's just all about.
It's about my life is surprisingly about me.
That's fine. So what's interesting is if you were a tree farmer many moons ago, and you had a plot of land. I was somewhere recently.
Tree farmer.
Yeah, because you do know that.
Do they have to herd them?
Well, you do know people plant trees.
Yeah, I know
right?
that. Yeah.
And there was I was somewhere not so long ago, and the person who had the land 150 years ago had planted trees to make matchsticks out of because he thought that was what people would want, and some more trees to make paper out of. I believe the paper trees would grow quicker, but the matchstick trees were going to take a lot of time. But you're putting trees in for not even your kids, your grandkids. That is foresight, and that is family, and that is what people had to do years ago. So we now only think about what's happening in the next 5 minutes. So let's just pretend for 1 minute he's right.
Right.
And everybody's going, yeah, disgusting, man. We're going to go through that. But in 50 years' time, we have utopia in Britain. Then isn't that an amazing thing to have the foresight?
But what does utopia exist?
Well, it won't, because we've got AI and we'll all be dead. But anyway, forget that. Forget that. But no, it's interesting. No, it's an interesting theory, though. How long of it's an interesting discussion point. How long are you able to suffer before you get something good at the end of it?
I wouldn't purposefully not recycle to make the world worse down the line for other generations. But the decisions I make and the decisions I want politicians to make, I want them to be about me in my lifetime, because I don't want to spend my whole time having a shit life going, oh, don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. It'll be all right for the others.
Yeah.
I just think, no.
I agree.
We're past that now.
So can't we do a bit of both?
We're past that. The greatest generation fought for us.
So let's look after.
That's why it was such a selfless act.
Let's talk about climate change. Let's look after ourselves, but then go to people that are leaders. Come on, look after the climate, for God's sake. And let's all anyway. What's the third one?
Third one. Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was good.
Last one. Now, this is gonna tug at your hatred of trademarks and copyright and stuff.
Okay.
Which famous chocolate brand lost a court case this week while attempting to trademark the shape of their bar? This was front page on the BBC and on other places, but BBC was on the front page.
By the way, I recommend anyone having a little break from the news. It's good, especially as taking Mark's selfish attitude on the world. There's nothing you can do about it. So what's the point in upsetting yourself?
Selfish.
Be selfish like Mark. Vote Mark. Be selfish. I'm going to say a Toblerone, because I know that they went back to their old style chocolate because they tried to con everyone and take some chocolate out and change the shape. They kept it as a pyramid-y type shape. Pyramid, triangle, what is that?
Yeah, that's right.
How do they describe it?
Yeah, triangular.
It's triangle. So yeah, and they've gone back. So I caught that bit. So I assume it'd be hard to do any other shapes.
It's quite surprising. Okay.
Oh, is it? So it's not that one.
I liked your thinking.
Okay, so it's not Toblerone. So
no,
it's
you don't
get
it.
Oh, I know it. I know it. I know it. I'm like
too late.
I'm like Emlyn Hughes on Question Sport. I know it. I do know it. I know it.
Go on in.
I know it because I know it. It's Kit Kat.
Yeah.
Because they
want.
want.
I could have to take your first answer, Tim.
Damn. Because they wanted, I don't know what they wanted. They wanted to have four. No, they wanted to have 2 fingers. Have they trademarked 4 fingers?
Trademark 4 fingers.
And they wanted 2 fingers, and the court said you can't have 2 fingers. You can only have. And they've got fingers.
There's a particular brand in Norway called Quick Lunch or Quick Lunch, and they've nicked the 4-finger wafer thing, and they've been I think they've been battling for about a year or something. Or is it 10 years, something like that? And they lost, and so now anyone can make the 4-finger. Wafer chocolate bar.
Did you read about the man who at the
No, Tim, I don't read the news.
The first time he got given it, see, this is the sort of news I read. The first time he got given a Kit Kat by his girlfriend, so she decided to tweet about it. You got the 4 fingers there.
I do, yeah.
He took a bite out of
all 4.
No, out of 3 of them. He went in the side, like it, like.
Oh right, yeah.
He didn't break them off.
Right, he went that way. Yeah,
he went in sideways.
Sideways. That is maverick.
And she put it on Twitter, and everyone was saying, "Do not marry him.
He's mental.
Get rid of him."
He's
and stuff like that. He didn't know. He just saw it and went, "I'll eat that," and it's so funny.
Because the best bit about Kit Kats is, if they want to sponsor us, here we go. The best bit about Kit Kats is taking off the little paper bit and then running your fingers down the gaps and breaking them off.
The best bit's eating it, I think.
Well, obviously, yeah. But the little bit of play.
Well, that's why they like it, because you can snap it off, and also you can. I suppose it's just the aesthetics of.
That's what I mean. It's that little bit of rigmarole beforehand.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, there was that, and I was going to ask you if you knew any other brands that had trademarked their.
Oh, Toblerone.
Toblerone have, yeah.
Okay, so. Wagon wheel.
No, I don't think you can patent the wheel, can you? Steve Will is a very rich man.
Tell you what, if you could, there's some knobhead in America trying to copyright. He's trying to copyright corn. like a type of corn.
Yes, that's an astonishing story.
There's 6 people. Right, I'm just going to get on my. Oh God.
He's genetically.
There's 6 people in America now who own half of America's wealth.
Yeah.
I mean, like, is it just me who's going? That doesn't feel like
right.
it's. Like, I don't know. They're all playing God, the 6 of them.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg lost 120 million quid though, didn't he?
Small change.
100.
Shrapnel.
No, how many did he lose? Or was it? I never can remember figures.
Shrapnel.
But billions, he lost billions just overnight. I don't know why. Why was that? You watch the news. Why did he do that?
Possibly something to do with the Cambridge Analytica taking the share prices down. Maybe all the controversy, whichever how you to pronounce it.
And people have slowed down joining Facebook.
I haven't used Facebook for years.
Right.
It's
okay.
It's a pit. I think.
Mark, this podcast has taken a very
let me just finish these
turn.
The Coca-Cola contoured bottle is a trademark.
Oh, that's good.
The shape. Pringles are the shape. And the sick flavoured turd drops that are Hershey's Kisses are also.
I don't think I've had one of those.
Oh, they're disgusting.
Are they? Taste like cheese.
Taste like sick.
Yeah. They do. Yeah, they do taste cheesy, don't they? I think Hershey's chocolate. Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think of
What
do you think of the new feature?
Don't let me decide. Let our viewers decide. Our listeners and viewers. If you could write in and let us know what you think of the podcast, that would be absolutely fantastic. And what you think of Mark's new item. I was just looking there, Fina. Just for I don't think this is going to make the podcast, but can you just lighten them all slightly? Because we're going to start doing some of these at night. Can you just lighten the cameras all slightly?
Yeah. Are we still going to do more recording now?
Yeah, just carry on. Why not? This is just a special moment for anybody who wants to be with us on our journey. Because I just want to
cut this bit for the podcast. This is boring.
No way. This will be the bit they will talk about. This is the bit that in years to come. Do you remember? I went to see Manic Street Preachers once, and James Dean Bradfield had a bit of a nightmare, and he started. I said, Alex, that's starting to look good. And James Dean Bradfield started. He just kept mucking up a couple of his songs. It was the best gig I'd seen because it's like they're so brilliant, Manic Street Preachers, and he's so amazing. And I met him afterwards. He was walking down the street on his own, absolutely gutted late at night. And I was going, mate, that's the best thing I've seen because I felt I was in. It was like a rehearsal. It was a small gig before they went on a big tour. And he's like, he still talks to me every time he sees me. He goes, I can't believe I did that. I was like, no, it was brilliant. It was brilliant to see that people make mistakes. And you also want to see how things grow and all this. So this might not make the podcast, but it is the bit.
We're certainly not the Manic Street Preachers, are we? There's enough of us.
I'm desperate to get Nicky Wire on here. I've learnt so much off Nicky Wire. Do you know what I learnt off Nicky Wire, which is brilliant? And then we'll leave it on that.
The Pringles are a trademark shape.
No. He said, oh God, let me get this right. I can't get it right, but I'll just do it. I'm on drugs. But he said, being a brilliant musician is not as good as having a good idea. The best bands have good ideas,
right?
Not brilliant musicians.
I agree with
think about all the bands that I love.
Yeah, it's all about the songs.
That none of them could play their instruments when they started. They were like, "Oh, let's start a band," no. And then they just did really interesting
all those great
things.
bands are self-taught, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't know about the Beatles, which is your favourite. But are they self-taught?
Self-taught. Yeah, I think his auntie taught John Lennon the ukulele, and then he picks up the guitar, I think, from someone, and he sort of taught himself the piano. Yeah, they're all self-taught. Oasis were self-taught, weren't they?
Did you see the James Corden thing with Paul McCartney? It was
brilliant.
No,
carpool karaoke.
You should watch it. It is brilliant. It's really good because they go back to his house, which is a museum now.
Yeah, that's right.
But the bit he said, it's just some little pearls of wisdom there. He comes out and he's been writing. What's that song? This is how bad I am tonight. Loves you, yeah. Right?
She loves you.
She loves you, yeah. Right, and he comes out and he's doing it. His dad's sitting in the other room. And he goes, "Dad, what do you think of the song?" He goes, "Do you need to do the Americanization of it? Can't you say yes instead of yeah?"
She loves you, yes.
How different would the song be? And also, how brilliant was it that the Beatles were trying to sound American back then because that was obviously a thing. I don't know. Who was before the Beatles? Who was doing all the music before them?
Well, it was Elvis was the biggest. Elvis tried to get the Beatles thrown out of America.
Did he?
Yeah.
Cliff Richard fell out with the Beatles.
Did he?
Because they encouraged the screaming and he was getting in trouble with it and the knicker throwing. Yeah, that apparently happened. But as
do you think he's coming home, Cliff?
as we all know, oh yeah.
What?
As we all know, I can't be bothered to explain
that's
it.
Right.
As we all know, the Specials invented music. All right, on that note, this is the end of our podcast. Thank you very much if you've been listening, watching, and if you're listening to this, God knows how much this will make the podcast. And we'll see you all very soon. We've got some specials coming up, which we're looking forward to. Make sure you try and watch stuff on YouTube just to see what it looks like. Give us plenty of feedback, please. dearlovejoypodcast@gmail.com or @timlovejoy. Don't mind if it's critical feedback. We just want feedback.
No, and here's one quick thing I would say. Where's all these listeners with problems? Our listeners are having great lives. We've not had a single problem this week. It's all been, we love the podcast.
Yes.
So we're doing something right.
Send some problems in.
Come on, guys, have some miserable lives so we can talk about you.
You could even talk about Brexit. We'll engage in that.
No, you're right.
Don't. All right. See you all very soon. Peace and love, joy.
Bye. Sound